San Diego, USD is a top 25 team. I will fight anyone on that.
Top 40 team.
They're a top 25 team. They deserve to be in the rankings, but why is their cake right next to me? So we celebrated, hasn't happened yet, Rick's birthday this last weekend, so that's why he's having cake. I had my share of cake when we celebrated my birthday, now Rick gets his cake. So we've been through a lot, honestly, within the last 12 hours at this point when we're recording, and even more so over this last week. But through the rankings, right now ranked still the same teams. Number 1, Gonzaga, who's been ranked all year long. Number 18, Loyola Chicago. Number 19, San Diego State. Now, getting votes: BYU, St. Bonaventure, Winthrop, VCU, UC Santa Barbara, and a lone 25 vote for San Diego Toreros. They got a 25 vote. Fight me. No, he did not mean to vote for San Diego State. I will fight you on that one.
He is tied. They are tied for 37, and apparently are better than San Diego State according to this voter.
Jeff Rabjohns, I will have you framed and in the background in these videos if you reply to me about why you voted San Diego for top 25. He will be a permanent feature, and I will agree with whatever you voted for as your top 25 from here on out if you ever reply to me.
You know why he voted it, right?
Because San Diego is a powerhouse.
They released his ballot. He did not have San Diego State on his ballot.
No, he had San Diego on his ballot, USD.
That was a typo. He meant University of California, San Diego. You meant UCSD.
But fight me on it. San Diego is a top 25 team or getting votes. Amazing. Again, Jeff Rabjohns, you will be a permanent feature if you reply to me about why that happened. So right now, over the last week, who has already gotten their automatic bid into the tournament? Congratulations to the Big South: Winthrop, Atlantic Sun Liberty, Southern UNC Greensboro, Missouri Valley, Loyola Chicago, and their first times in a while in Ohio Valley, Morehead State, first time that they've been in the tournament since 2010. And in the Sun Belt, Appalachian State, first time since the year 2000 is when their tournament. The championship games to look out for this coming week: American East on the 13th, number 6 seed in the conference seedings, UMass taking on number 4 seed Hartford. Colonial on March 9th. 8 Elon is either going to be taking on number 2 Northeastern or 6 Drexel. We don't know yet because we're filming right in the middle of that game. Right now I know Drexel is winning. Unfortunately, come on Huskies, I'm cheering for you. Horizon also on the 9th, number 1 Cleveland State surviving their game. Going to be taking on either number 3 Oakland or number 4 Northern Kentucky. In the Northeast on the 9th as well, number 4 Mount St. Mary's is going to be taking on number 2 Bryant. Summit on the 9th, number 4 Oral Roberts is going to be taking either number 2 South Dakota or number 3 North Dakota State. Again, we don't know because we are filming right in the middle of that game. On the 9th as well, number 1 Gonzaga, we just finished up that game, so we know for sure Gonzaga is going to be in the championship, going to be taking on probably number 2 in the seedings, BYU, maybe number 3 Pepperdine, but probably for how everything shaped up, it was going to be BYU. And that's pretty much the biggest guess. And then the Atlantic 10 on the 14th, number 1 St. Bonaventure is going to be taking on number 2 VCU. Honestly puts a big question mark for Atlantic 10 to get a 3 bid with St. Louis not making it to the finals, unfortunately. That is probably going to be their biggest heartbreak as a conference.
Yeah.
Is to not see St. Louis, not to see that conference as a 3 bid conference. I personally believe all 3 of those teams should be in.
Yeah, I would concur on that. I just want to throw out there on note that Winthrop, Morehead State, Liberty, Appalachian State, UNC Greensboro, and Loyola Chicago will all probably have a longer NCAA tournament streak than Duke.
Probably and more likely. And then, so pretty much just going off with what we talked about last week, just what's the tournaments that are either starting or pretty much like halfway through, maybe did a round before this week because they had weird breaks. But just going off, just basically we're going to go conference by conference, just naming a team within the conference to just look out for, give you some a little bit of their stats, maybe a guy to watch out for, just so you have some information about these teams and players going into watching these tournaments. So the first tournament that we're going to start off with actually started on March 3rd, finishing on March 14th, is going to be the Patriot League. Semifinals, number 1 Navy lost to Loyola, Maryland.
Is that real?
Yes, they lost to Loyola, Maryland.
Okay, so Navy finished 12-1 in conference record. Only loss was to Army, and that was, I think, and that was earlier in the conference. Loyola, Maryland finished 4-10 in the conference.
It was a big upside. I think they were like an 8 seed in their bracket. So going forward within the Patriot League, Colgate 11-1 on the season. Their only loss was to Army, who is the number 4 seed on the opposite side. So they could actually have a rematch in the finals in their tournament. 9 guys have played in all 13 games from Colgate. Honestly, much like the toothbrush or the toothpaste brand, heavy attack on everything. 11.1 assists. I tried to do something. Yeah, I know it didn't work out. 11.1 assists, 11th most in NCAA college basketball. 10.2 turnovers per game, which is the 7th fewest. 85 points per game, 4th most. A guy to watch out for, Jordan Burns, 17 points, 4.6 rebounds, 5.4 assists.
Sounds like he'll fix your gingivitis.
Moving on to the MAAC, the MAC. Started on today as we're filming on March 8th, finishing on March 13th. The team to look out for in that conference, Siena, 12-3 during their conference play. Again, these stats, the records that I'm saying are going to be conference stats, not their overall stats. Siena 12-3, close losses and wins all season long. They only have 3 wins decided by 10 or more points, and that's including losses. All their other wins and losses within 10 points. Their top 25 and fewest points allowed. Got to watch out for Manny Camper, 14.4 points, 10.1 rebounds, getting a double-double on the season, and 4 assists that he's averaging per game.
I would like to see Monmouth pull that one out though, because I want that Monmouth bench back in the NCAA tournament.
Right. On to the next one. Conference USA started on March 9th when we released this video, finishing on March 13th. A team to watch out for that I'm super pumped about and should, I hope, get into the tournament. Western Kentucky, 10-2 in conference. They had split wins out of conference, I think actually within conference. Split wins with Louisiana Tech. And outside of conference, beat Rhode Island, Memphis, and Alabama, who is still ranked. Mm-hmm. They had a loss by 6 to West Virginia, who is also ranked. So overall, I think they should just get a bid into the tournament with this kind of resume. More consistent on both ends of the court compared to North Texas, who's in their conference, and Louisiana Tech. North Texas and Louisiana Tech definitely better skill set on their defensive end. For Western Kentucky, look out for Charles Basie, 17.8 points, 11.8 rebounds, 61.4% shooting from the field, and 3.1 blocks. So definitely will contribute a lot on offense and a lot on defense from him, from the Hilltoppers.
Following up on that, Conference USA, if it's not going to be Western Kentucky, keep an eye out for Old Dominion, Louisiana Tech, or Alabama Birmingham.
Yeah, I think Louisiana Tech is probably the other one that could steal it around from Western Kentucky. Next one that's going to be starting on the 9th, Big West, starting on the 9th and finishing on the 13th, UC Santa Barbara, who's been like in and out of the rankings, at least for votes. 11-3 within conference. They beat Pepperdine, split wins with LMU outside of their conference, and then they lost both times to the number 2 team, UC Irvine. So that's going to be the team that's probably going to be able to steal it from Santa Barbara. They are assist to turnover ratio 1.49 assist to turnover ratio, which is 10th highest, so they're getting a bunch of assists and not a whole lot of turnovers. 16.7 assists to 11.2 turnovers. However, like I said, the team just steal it from this conference. UC Irvine, they can pass the ball around, or they need to improve on passing the ball. They only got 7 assists, Santa Barbara, against UC Irvine. The first game, the second game, only 10 assists. The guy to watch out for, Ja'Cory McLaughlin, 16 points, 5.4 assists, 3.6 rebounds, 42.1% from the 3, and he is one of 4 primary 3-point shooters. There's 4 guys that can score a 3-point shot for Santa Barbara.
Now, we do have to watch out for UC San Diego in this conference tournament because they might have gotten a vote. However, they are 0-0 in conference play in the Big West. So, not likely, but watch out for them.
Another conference, Southland, starting on the 9th and ending on the 13th. 2 teams to steal it from this conference, Nichols and Sam Houston State, but probably going to be Abilene Christian, 12-2 within conference. When they win big, 15 points, which is 6th highest point differential in NCAA right now. 9 guys with 10 plus minutes, 10 guys playing 20 of their 24 total games, so it's definitely a deep team. Top 10 in assists, 17.8 assists, 14 turnovers, however, which is bottom third of the NCAA, and it's a top 40 assist to turnover ratio, just for how that math worked out. 9.6 steals per game, which is 4th most. A guy to watch out for, Colton Cole, 12.1 points, 4.5 rebounds, 54.9% from the field.
Yeah, you named it. Abilene Christian, very strong, but a half game back on Nichols State. So we'll see who comes out of that tournament.
And then moving on to the Mountain West, starting on the 10th, finishing on the 13th. Again, I think this is going to be a coin flip of 4 teams, Colorado State, Boise State, who look to be a pretty good bid into the tournament, even if they don't win their conference tournament. Utah State definitely needs to win their tournament in order to get into the conference, but probably the team that's going to be taking it, number 19 ranked team, San Diego State. Overall, amazing in how well they adjusted from losing Malachi Flynn from this last year. 6th fewest opponents' field goal percentage per game. Top 30 in steals per game, 8.3. Top 10 in Ken Palm adjusted defense. Again, 14.3 assists on the offensive end. And that's coming from 4 to 6 guys easily. None of that like, oh, it's like this guy produces like 0.3 assists per game. No, like 4 to 6 guys have around 1 or 2 assists per game. And definitely 2 guys to look out for, which were 2 guys that you should have looked out for last season. Matt Mitchell and Jordan Shackled combined 29.8 points and 9.7 rebounds. Shackled, on the other hand, 46.4% from the 3-point line, and he'll make about 3, if not 4 a game.
Yeah, so he's only putting up 7 or 8 a game, but he's making 3 to 4 of them, and that's a little scary.
Yeah, it's definitely someone that you're gonna have to guard.
It's efficient.
Yeah, and they'll get it to him. It's not like, oh, we're just gonna guard you on the 3-point line. No, like San Diego will find a way to get it to him to shoot a 3 easily. Moving on to the Big Sky, starting on the 10th, ending on the 13th. Eastern Washington is probably going to be the team to take it. 11-3 within conference, mix and match team, to be honest. 10 guys that have played 75% of the games, all averaging 10 plus minutes. Assist to turnovers, 15.4 assists, 11.3 turnovers. That's top 25 in the assist to turnover ratio. Fast team, adjusted tempo is like 16th last time I checked on Ken Palm. A guy to look out for, Tanner Groves, is their forward, junior from Spokane, Washington, pretty much a native. 16.8 points, 8.1 rebounds, 56.7 from the field.
If I'm not mistaken, Tanner won Player of the Year in the Big Sky.
Mm-hmm.
And Eastern kind of is playing like a little mini Gonzaga in Gonzaga's shadow in Cheney, Washington. So good luck to them. And Southern Utah and Weber, maybe, probably not.
Those are the two teams that are gonna maybe upset it. But yeah, and Eastern Washington was a team that should have made the tournament last year. I don't think they completed their conference play, but they were projected to be in the tournament last year. So it's good to see teams that should have made the tournament last year making the tournament this year.
Yep.
It's good to see that. It's good to see the consistency year by year, at least within this weird year that we have. Now in the SWAC, the SWAC, starting on the 10th, ending on the 13th. Before I get into anything with this conference, I think Prairie View A&M is going to win it, 12-0 within conference, but I want to talk about Jackson State. I want to talk about Jackson State for a lot of reasons. They are also undefeated within conference play, 11-0. Obviously, they didn't face off against each other. But this is why I want to talk about Jackson State, is because it is bizarre as to why they are one, undefeated, and also a leader in their conference. 16 players have played a game for Jackson State, 10 of which have averaged 10 plus minutes. 8 guys have played 13 of their total 16 games. Their assist to turnover ratio is horrendous. 10.6 assists for 15.8 turnovers, which is the 11th worst ratio in NCAA right now. 34th most turnovers right now in NCAA, and 20th fewest assists in NCAA right now. It gets even better. 38.8% from the field they are shooting, which is 11th lowest. 64.1 points per game, which is 24th fewest. And they have the 22nd fewest threes made per game at 5.4 made threes. That's a bunch of their offensive stats.
They're 11-0.
This is going to be why, apparently,
in conference.
10th fewest opponent field goal percentage, so defense is pretty good. 10th fewest opponent points per game as well. 36th most turnovers forced per game, 15.7. I guess defense wins games for them.
Defense wins championships, or so they say.
Apparently that might come true because of Jackson State. So if you win the SWAC, wow, good for you. How did you do it? It obviously wasn't your offense.
Honestly, that might, depending on the matchup in NCAA tournament, they could make a Sweet 16 run just by shutting down an opponent. Like, imagine them versus like Iowa.
Again, I think it's going to be Prairie View A&M. I just wanted to talk about Jackson State because when I was looking at their stats, I'm like, how is this team undefeated within conference play? But a guy to watch out for Jackson State. Again, there's 16 guys that have registered a game for this team. Tristan Jarrett, 20.1 points, 5.7 rebounds, 35.8% from the three-point line. He's going to be their only three-point shooter pretty much every game.
Yeah.
Um,
I want to throw out. I want to throw out for the SWAC. I would love to see Grambling State come out and win it. They're probably not going to, but considering Grambling State went 0-40 the year that Kentucky went 39-1, I would love to see that 10-year turnaround to go from being winless to being a tournament team.
And then now on to the WAC, the WAC, starting on the 11th, ending on the 13th. You've probably seen all of their commercials at some point in time in your life. I hope so. Grand Canyon University, 8-2 within conference. Lost to San Francisco by 3, lost to ASU by 1, lost to Colorado by 10 outside of conference. They do have the 19th most assists in NCAA, 16.6, and they have 10 plus offensive rebounds per game. A guy to look out for from Denmark, Asbjorn Midgard, I'm guessing how you pronounce your name. 14.3 points, 10.3 rebounds, averaging a double-double, and 71.5% shooting from the field.
So I'm going to be pulling really hard for Utah Valley in this conference tournament. And if Grand Canyon gets in, I hope they get to do a play-in game against Liberty where they both lose.
Yeah, I can see that. And then on to the last two, the MEAC, the MEAC, starting on the 11th, ending on the 13th. Two teams to probably steal it, Copen State and Morgan State. Both kind of similar records, 8-4 for Copen State, 7-4 for Morgan State. Maybe Norfolk is probably, this is going to be the team that we're going to be talking about. It's going to be a toss-up between these three teams, to be honest. Norfolk, honestly, great logo. 8-4 in the conference play. 11 players have played in 16 of their 21 games, all averaging 10 plus minutes. 7 to 8 guys who will shoot threes. Each of those players will take about 2 to 3 per game. Guy to look out for, Devontae Carter, 15.9 points, 5 rebounds, and 3.8 assists per game.
Are we going to ignore North Carolina A&T?
Probably.
Yeah. Oh God. Yeah, they're 7-1, but they're an 11-10 overall.
Yeah, I know.
Just kidding.
And then on to the last conference, the MAC, starting on the 11th, ending on the 13th. This team has been in and out of the votings. The Toledo team, 15-4 within their conference. 5 guys averaging 10 plus points. They love to take 3-point shots. They make 10.8 per game, second most in NCAA right now. 16.4 assists for 11 turnovers, which is 11th best in the assist to turnover ratio. I gotta look out for Marion Jackson, 17.6 points, 6.3 rebounds, 6.1 assists, and I will throw this one out too, 1.9 steals per game.
Excellent. If you're trying to put this conference in context, it also has Buffalo, who made the tournament 2 years ago. Has
good team 2 years ago.
Yeah. It has Akron. It has
definitely teams to steal it.
If you're over 60 years old, it also has Kent State and Bowling Green. It also has Northern Illinois University, which apparently has like 4 NFL quarterbacks right now, including Jimmy G.
Dang.
But yeah, Toledo or Buffalo are probably the primaries.
Like Toledo, at least as they were getting votes, but
Akron could play usurper, but I'm not confident in that.
Yeah, so that's all that's coming up this week. So definitely be watching the mid-majors. Again, San Diego, you are a top 25 team in my opinion. I will vote for you in the top 25 too. But please leave a comment down below. Who do you think is going to be winning their tournaments between wherever the championship games are this week and also the ones that we have yet to see as well? Who's going to be in the tournament? Who's going to be the bubble teams that will probably not make the tournament because, power conference teams, unfortunately, will probably snub at least one of the Atlantic 10.
I hate that. If you finish 7th in your conference, you're not winning the tournament. Don't. Ah!
I honestly believe Atlantic 10 should be a 3-bid conference. They probably won't, unfortunately, because of everything. But please leave a comment down below. Who do you think will make the tournament? Who will win their conference? Please like this video. Please also subscribe as well. Again, we are going to be doing a giveaway once we hit 50 subscribers. A hat giveaway once that comes out. Follow me on Twitter for more details on that. Follow him on Twitter as well, please. Until next time, please stay safe. Please stay healthy. We will be doing a bracket prediction come next week after selection Sunday. We will do it a little bit differently. We will go more weekend by weekend to see who's going to be getting to the next weekend. That's how we're going to be doing ours, not a full bracket. But until next time, please stay safe. Please stay healthy.
Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me. Happy birthday to me.